He's having a 90% success rate. I was talking to a doctor in Canada last week, and she took somebody there with brain cancer. And she talked to Dr. Tullio Simoncini. He came to the motel room every day for 17 days. He said, in 10 years, I've lost 1 case of cancer. Wow. Did he get a Nobel Prize? No, he's had all of his qualifications taken away from him. He's been told if he cures another case of brain cancer, he'll be put in jail. Whoa. Simoncini. He's not very old. He's probably late 40s. So in his practice of 20 years, he's lost 1 case. You're going to be shocked at what he treats his cancer with. The same thing your grandmothers scrubbed mouldy bathrooms with. The same thing that in agriculture they treat fungus in the plants. And in Australia it costs $2.95 for a little paper packet in the supermarket. It's sodium bicarb. Bicarbonate of soda. It is one of the most alkalizing substances there is. Your stomach lining is constantly releasing it so that the acid doesn't burn a hole in your stomach. That's if you're fully hydrated. If you're dehydrated, that doesn't happen. Your pancreas is constantly releasing little bits so that when the food acid comes into your duodenum, it neutralises it. Some people have said to me, but doesn't Spirit of Prophecy tell us not to have sodium bicarb? That's when you rise cakes with it. And actually, how Dr. Tullio Simoncini does it, he uses portacats, which means he puts a catheter into the vein and the sodium bicarb solution goes straight to the brain or straight to the pancreas or straight to the liver or straight. We can't do that, but this afternoon I'm going to show you how to alkalize the cancers or the fungus in the body without using that, because we can't do portacats.
I know this one clinic I was at in Mexico, they use hydrogen peroxide.
Hydrogen peroxide is totally different. Hydrogen peroxide is actually cytotoxic. Cytotoxic means it's poisonous to cells. But sodium bicarb, it is just alkalizing. Cancer loves acid, and it releases acid. Yeah?
That website again?
It's www.cancer/fungus. Can you see why I started this lecture reading about leprosy in the Bible? It's the same thing. You see that?
Yeah.
The curse causeless does not come. And how many times when Jesus healed the sick, he said, go and what? And sin no more. Because it was sin and breaking of the basic laws of health that had brought that on the body. Do you remember what I said when I first started this lecture? In a well-oxygenated, well-sunned, what does sun do to fungus? Kills it. A body that does not take poisons. A body that is well exercised. The life of the flesh is in the blood, and what moves the blood the best? Exercise. You've got to move that body. Idleness is death. Stagnant pools breed disease. Stagnant bodies breed disease. A well-exercised body, a well-nourished body, a well-mineralized body. A body that is well-watered. A body that is relaxed and trusting in divine power. It is virtually impossible for these little micro life forms to make house in that body. Because it's virtually impossible for us not to have these guys coming at us from every side. You can live a happy, healthy life in 2008 on planet Earth. But there is a formula. And if you adhere to that formula, you will get the benefits. Let me end on a quote from In Counsel and Diet and Food, commenting on Daniel, page 28. the erect form, the firm elastic step, the fair countenance, the untainted breath, the undimmed senses, also many certificates of good habits, insignia of the nobility with which nature honours those who are obedient to her laws. That's your health certificates, and that is the insignia with which nature honours those who are obedient to her laws. Broken law brings disharmony. Obedience to law brings health. This afternoon, I'm going to have a look at how to get the most out of your food, because if you're not getting the fuel, you're not going to heal. And then in the second meeting, I'm going to share with you the program of how to eliminate fungus from the body. But I want to state here that if a person has a yeast or a fungus in their body, it doesn't mean they have cancer. Remember Joe. It was in his body, and every year he fed it, and he fed it, and he fed it with antibiotics and all its favourite food. So eventually it got to a state where it did start to take over his body. You see, cancer isn't a monster that suddenly comes in and starts to eat out our body. There's a reason why it's there. There's a reason why it's growing. And if you starve cancer of glucose, do you know what cancer cells do? They self-destruct. Let me go back to the little energy cycle. I'm going to draw for you the energy cycle on a normal cell and an energy cycle on a cancer cell. The energy cycle on a normal cell has about 15 different chemical reactions before the energy comes out. A cancer cell or a fungus cell, basically they're very similar, has only about 5 chemical reactions. The glucose goes in and the energy comes out. This cell runs a lot faster. So when glucose goes into the body, this guy gobbles it up. Huh? This guy will still run if you stop all the glucose, because it can run. You can make glucose out of your fats and your proteins. So when you stop the glucose, this guy dies. Now when chemotherapy goes into the body, which cell is going to consume more chemotherapy? The one that's running fast. So it is this very process that the drug companies are depending on for chemotherapy to kill cancer. You see that? It's a gamble. They're just hoping that more of these will die than these guys. Huh? I'm not actually interested in that gamble. Are you? No. I'm interested in a sure way. And this afternoon I'm going to show you how you can conquer cancer in the human body. What I wanted to do this morning was lay a foundation. I wanted to appeal to your understanding, so then you can understand why you would do such things. Shall we end our meeting? Do we have a hymn?